Yo, what's going on, guys? So in this video, we're going to be going over how to increase your combat power. Very easy, very simply. It might seem like a long and tedious grind. However, if you guys have watched stream, you guys have been keeping up with me, you guys know that combat power has never been an issue for me, and I want to share some of my secrets with you. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys, we are doing that 1K sub giveaway. Hopefully by the time this video is released, we will have hit it. But if we didn't, make sure to drop a sub, leave a comment, leave a like. It is absolutely free and it really helps the channel out. And once we do hit that, we will be doing the 1K sub giveaway. So if by the time this video is released, we have hit it, I just want to give you guys an update. We will be doing it not this video, but the following videos. But let's jump straight into it. So the first and most important way to get your combat power up is by specifically leveling up your gear, getting the traits that you need, getting the trait levels up. And this is pretty simple, I will say. More so to do with Lucent and RNG more so than anything. However, you can basically shift the favor towards yourself. As you guys can see, this is my alt. I'm currently basically starting to work on it. I still have a little bit of work to do, but I'm basically done on my main. And how I basically have gone about it: number one, blessing stacking. If you didn't do blessing stacking to get traits, well, this completely skip over this tip. But blessing stacking helps me with that. Also, try to find the cheapest, I guess I would say, trait that is also the best way to go about like the best way to level it. For me personally, it doesn't really matter necessarily on the price. Everything is pretty simple if you make Lucent, but I do recommend, number one, starting off trying to get the traits. The levels themselves, as you can see, level 6, this is a grind and a half. Any of you trying to get growth stones, I just recommend you guys go watch my video on that. There's a previous video on it. It is a pain in the ass to get, so I wouldn't really worry too much about this until later. Just worry about getting the traits. These, I think a fully traded piece of gear will basically add like 200 combat power compared to just a blank piece of gear. Not to mention, also make sure it is tier 2 purple gear. Tier 2 purple gear will just absolutely boost it even more. Highly recommend you guys go absolutely nuts on your gear. The next way is going to be increasing the level of your runes. Now, this isn't going to increase your combat power too much, but it does still help. And you can do it in a passive way just by running your open world dungeons as well as your weekly missions. As if you get your weekly missions done, you get 150 purple runes to level it up. And again, these don't really add crazy amount to your combat power, but every level that you get up will help, and it's more of a casual thing unless you do run trials. But I know most people aren't going to be running tier 15 trials anytime soon, so but make sure you guys get your synergy down. This also does help because it gives you dex or wisdom or whatever else you want to run on there, and it also gives you a substat. Me, I run dex attack speed on my weapons, and this does indeed help with combat power. The next way is going to be leveling up your skills. Now, for me personally, I recently switched over from crossbow greatsword to dagger spear. So I'm still working on these, but every level that you get will increase your combat power by, I believe, 4. So 15 times 4, every single one is like 60. So it is quite a decent amount. If you guys haven't already done so, I highly recommend you get these, and as well as your passives leveled up. But on top of that, make sure you guys level up your weapons. Now for me, it's a little complicated. On my main, I have 2 weapons, and then I'm just slowly but surely leveling everything up with like the available mastery XP. So my daggers and my bow is going to be like 120, and then I level everything up. They're currently like 35, but that's not to increase my combat power. That's to get these mastery skills. But if you're specifically going for combat power, just level up your like personal weapons all the way up to level 200. I think every level as well for this is for combat power. So the quicker you get that up, the quicker you can get just 16. I think it's 1600. Yeah, 1600 combat power, and yeah, you'll feel a very, very, very big difference. How would you go about actually increasing your combat power, whether that be gear, skills, or your weapon mastery? Basically, the best way, and I know this is sort of a cop out answer, is literally just by doing your dailies and your weeklies. I know it's a real cop out answer, but there are certain ways that you can improve upon getting certain things. In terms of your daily contracts, if you come over to Herba, these daily contracts that come with specific like final rewards. If you look at the far right reward, you can get specific rewards, whether that be the parchments to level up your skills. You can get the polished crystals to level up your mastery through the growth stones. You can do it that way through your open world dungeons. You take a look, say at Burkant. This basically drops every single kind of material that you need, whether that be polished crystals or ores or even gear to say blessing stack if you really want to go about it that way. This can save you lucent. This can make you lucent. Great way to go about it. Also, weapon mastery. If you pop a weapon mastery food like apricot pie, your I think it's like a berry that increases solent to be able to keep up with the solent. Your mastery report books to increase your mastery. That's a great way to go about it. And then for your co-op dungeons, if you take a look at tier threes, you'll get gear in here that you can use for mastery. You can sell, or you can just feed it into your gear. You'll also get the mastery seals for your tier 3 as well as your tier 2. If you run them every single day, I highly recommend you basically put your head to the grinder and just do it. This way you don't miss out on any rewards and you're able to just completely go through it. Now, in terms of runes, you can run trials. I personally don't. I think number one, it's a waste of time. I don't even bother with it. Don't get me wrong, this will get your runes way, 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 way leveled up really quickly, but I just can't be bothered enough to do it that way. Another great way to make sure you're keeping up with everything is go through all your different vendors, go through your sundries merchant, go through your guild merchant, your contract merchant, go down here to your resistance good merchant, your nebula island stone merchant. Make sure you go through literally everything. Try to buy out what you need every single day. Don't get me wrong, it's not a lot every single day. Like I recently just started buying the polished crystals. Um, Basically before I was like, this is not enough, or I thought I had enough. Now I'm realizing I need a ton. If you guys have watched stream at all, I've been farming Tyrant's Isle for polished crystals like nobody's business, and I need a ton more, at least for my alt. So it's going to be a bit of an oops, but make sure you guys are buying this out. This takes 5 minutes to go through, and if you do it every single day, you can stack up hundreds upon hundreds of mats each week. I highly recommend you do that. And finally, two last tips. Make sure you guys show up to your world boss events. You may get a drop, you may not. More than likely, you won't get a drop unless you got really, really good gear. However, what I will say is if you do get a drop and you don't need it, you can sell it for Lucent, which will just boost your way all the way up to really high combat power. But also you get these bonus rewards for just showing up to the events. I personally don't show up to like these events here, even though I probably should. They do give a decent amount of rewards, but I'm crunched on time. However, you can show up to that. But also the final one is if you have time and then you have the willpower to do so, show up to Nebula. You won't, like, unless you're PvPing and doing all the events for Nebula, you won't be getting these. But trust me when I say this, these pouches right here are definitely worth the headache and the time. It'll get you Lucent, it'll get you gear, it'll get you all that stuff. It is very, very good. But specifically, if you don't really feel like running PvP for these different accessories, there is one way to go about it to get them. Now, it will be a little bit of a nuisance to say the least, but if you run a tier 5 solo dungeon, you have like a 2% chance to get a nebula accessory. And again, if you specifically don't really care about running them, or if you'd rather just the Lucent, for me personally, if I was to ever run tier 5 solo dungeons, I would personally just sell these just to be able to get the Lucent. But if you really want to, you can run these to get Lucent, to actually get the gear that you need. But I just recommend running it for Lucent. So hopefully this guide helped you guys out. I'm currently working my way to 6,000 combat power on my main, and I'm trying my best to get my combat power on my ult up. Literally a week ago, I think we were like 4,800 combat power, but since I've been starting to work on this, it's been going through the roof. And hopefully soon we'll be done with everything that I need to increase combat power. But that's basically how I've been going about it, with 2 characters and having a ridiculous combat power. Now, I know not a lot of people get to play all too often on this game. Just make sure you guys are making the most out of your time to increase your combat power. If you guys need a guide, I do have one on here for casuals and PvEers and beginners, to basically what you need to do. And basically that guide is how I would go about doing everything. It was sort of a, I guess I would say, a gloss over of that, but basically just to show you every single way to increase your combat power. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. And again, if we haven't hit it by this video, just a reminder, we are doing that 1K sub giveaway. And even if we did hit it, make sure to drop a sub, leave a comment, leave a like, so you guys can be in the 1K sub giveaway when we end up doing it. But I have a feeling we will hit it this week, because you guys are absolutely incredible. But other than that, that is all I have for you guys. So I hope each and every one of you guys has a wonderful day. And as always, take care. And I'll talk to you guys later.